Okay, we are talking about books, books, books today on Tuesday's tips and tutorial. I'm excited. I'm going to try really hard to just keep it to 15 minutes, but that may be an issue. I want to talk to you about books, my favorite books. You already heard the quotes. Reading is fundamental, and that readers are leaders. So if you want to hear more about my favorite books that I read in the past 2 years, stay tuned. Oh, don't you love to see those beautiful baby faces? I love my family. I'm in love with life. Listen, I love my new little intro. I added a few little things about life. Listen, this is just so amazing when you're able to be a grandma, be a mom, worship, and a reader, and a fiance. Just the way life is, it is absolutely amazing. So happy Tuesday! Happy Tuesday! I am so grateful that you are here with me today, this morning. You already know it's just a few minutes of all things that Liz loves, whether it's beauty, again, empowering and embracing our beauty from the inside out. And today we're going to talk a little bit about embracing inside beauty. What's going on in the inside? And these are a few books that I have read that I loved during the past 2 years. There's a lot of books, but I'm only going to share maybe 5 books with you. And I'm even going to read a little something from the inside of the book. Okay. And just some tips for my girls and my guys who love to read. Something that will get you a little bit out of the box. Perhaps it's something that you're doing a lot of and you want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to have some tips here for you. Don't forget to share this on your profile. Share me with your friends. I am hoping for 5 people to share me. Last week we had 5 share, and Maria, my girlfriend from Texas, won an amazing accessory. So I just love blessing you guys with something. It could literally be a bookmarker. It could be a gift certificate to Barnes and Noble. Who knows? Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. So today, again, I'm sharing just some of my fun books and some of my favorite books. Some may be New York Times sellers. Some may be like, wait, what? And I'm even going to give you Instagram handles so that you can follow some of these authors, because they're just that good. They're just that good. So tell me where you're watching from. Please say hello. Yes, just when I needed this. Awesome, Elmira. Thank you so much for watching from St. Clair Shores. I love that you're watching today. Thank you for being with me. Yes, please say hello and let me know that you're watching. So we may have some tips today. But these are a few of the books that I so enjoyed reading throughout the past 2 years. And I just want to share just a few with you today. I kind of tossed a few on my bed the other day, and I was like, these are the ones that I want to talk about because they're sitting on my nightstand. They've already been read, and I want to share. I want to share some with you today. So let's start with number 1. If you don't read poetry, you need to find yourself a poetry book. You need to visit Barnes and Noble. You need to reach out to your friends who are book readers, like they read all the time. Reach out to them. I've done this so many times. If you're watching right now and you're one of those people that I've literally DM'd you and said, what book are you reading? Or can you recommend a book? Can you recommend a book? Thank you, Betsy, for sharing. Good morning to you, my sweet girl from Cape Coral, for watching. If you're one of those people that I've asked you, what book are you reading? Thank you for always replying back to me. And I've gotten a few from my girlfriends that have replied and said, girl, you need to read this book. Whether you know what I was going through or not, they've always extended so that I'm doing the same thing to you today. This is a book from Alex. His name is Pierre Alex Gentry. And you can find him on Instagram. This is a man writing poems to a woman who needs to find her worth or has just been through heartbreak. It's look how just how they're like small little poems. Look, like it only takes you a little bit to read that. Like not even a long time, right? And every day I would read this book. Again, I'm talking about 2019, 2020. 2 years of a lot of transitioning for me. Now, let me remind you that when you're going through difficult times, we already know you need to pray. You need to pray because a lot of people have been contacting me and saying, Liz, you look so happy. You are glowing. You seem so excited. And we were really worried about you with your depressing post because I'm very transparent and I post a lot on social media. Social media to me has always been like my diary. And some folks may not understand that. They may see it like, oh my gosh, she's flaunting or she's doing this. No, social media has been my diary. And I can look back and say, wow, I remember when I recorded that album. I remember when I went to that concert. I remember when I met these pastors. I remember when I did this because I have it all documented, right? So when you see all of these transitions in life and difficulty, always know, and my main thing is I've never given my back on God. So if you're looking for a solution, if you're looking to get out of a pit, to get out of a dark place, you need to pray. And you need to make sure you are not giving your back on God, that you are reading his word and his promises. So that's number one. But above and beyond all of that, once you're doing all of that, find yourself some good books for your soul, like fun, exciting things that are a little bit out of the box. And I haven't had a poetry book since I was probably in high school. Have I not had a poetry book in my hands? So this one was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love that. I even circle. For those who love to read, if you circle and mess up your book with highlighter and you're underlining stuff, I write dates on the side of the pages and I can go back and literally tell you what I read February of 2020, what I was reading, what I highlighted, what spoke to me in February of 2020. Like I could go back and tell you. So if you question me now, I can say, well, you don't know that last year at this time, I was going through A, B, and C, and it was really bad. So the poem was nice to read, and I will read one for you before I go to the next book. Okay? That's just because you are a nerd. Yes, that is correct. That is correct, Bobby. So it says, she is looking for a man who will devote less time questioning why there are walls around her heart and more time jumping, climbing, breaking, and doing whatever is necessary to get past those walls. Ooh, I said, yes, I circled that. The other one said, once upon a time, listen to this, because I'm reading and I'm saying, oh my God, that's me. A lot of times when you read, you're just looking at yourself in a mirror. Once upon a time, persuasive words would give her goosebumps, and sweet nothings would satisfy her craving. Oh, but now she has grown to listen with her eyes and only trust actions and to study behaviors. Come on, ladies, study those behaviors. She has allowed time to be the inspector to see what it will reveal. Her is the book, and there's a volume 1 and there's a volume 2. Poems from Pierre Alex Gentry. Next book. This is good. All right, find yourself something funny. Find yourself something real. Find yourself something funny. For those who say, well, I only read women authors, books that are from women. No, read yourself, especially if you're talking about relationships, read something coming from a man's perspective, not from just a woman's perspective. And this one was recommended to me. Ooh, and this is a good laugh. But at the same time, lots of realness in this book. Again, it has been messed up with my handwriting. I write things even on the side. I'll put things like, you got to post this. This is so true. If I know that a lot of my girlfriends are going through the same thing, I'll write names. If anybody were to ever grab one of my books, they will know my secrets because I write too much in my books. I am not the type to lend somebody a book. Anybody else lend anybody a book? I can't do it because if I do, you're going to see too much. So I got to keep it for me. I will buy you the book, but I will not let you borrow my book because I write so much. Literally, I do dates. I even write verses or whatever it is that jumps up at me the minute I'm reading. I'll go back to a memory. I'll say, yes, me and my sisters. I'll write my sisters, or I say, yes, my mom and I had this conversation. Like I'll literally write in the book. That's how much I love it. But Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man from Steve Harvey. You already know. Yeah, Omira's already writing this stuff down. You already know it's funny. If you're looking for a husband, this is the part that cracked me up. It cracked me up. This is when did I read this book? 2019. Okay. My 2019 book. Maybe beginning of 2020. No, maybe end of, let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. I always write the date too in the front to remind me when I read it. And this one had me laughing because he said, girl, you ain't never going to find a perfect man. Because if you're going to find a perfect man, you'd have to marry 4 men. 4 men. And I'm like, oh my God, what is he talking about? Yes, you'd have to marry a bodybuilder, an ugly guy, an old man, and a gay guy. If you can find, that is the perfect man. Because the bodybuilder has the body that you want. The old man is going to sit and watch TV with you hours on end and spend so much time with you. The ugly guy, he's going to do everything for you because he's just so happy that he has you. And the gay guy's going to love shopping with you at the mall with no problems. He is not going to complain at all. These are Steve Harvey's words, and they were hilarious. So I love that. What men are looking for: love, honor, respect. They are so not as complicated as women are. We make things way more complicated than them. I wish I would have read this when I was 20 years old, but Steve did amazing. Biographies, girls. So I already told you to find yourself a good poetry book. Find yourself a book that a man has written, okay? Or someone from the opposite sex. So if you're a guy who's listening to this, find yourself a book that a woman has read, that she's written. And then do a biography. This biography here tore me up. Let me talk to you about Dawn Barton. Follow her on Instagram. She is amazing. When you think you're going through some junk, you got to listen to other people's stories so that you can gain perspective. And say, wait, I'm not going through nothing compared to what she went through or what he went through. So find yourself a really good biography to read. And let me tell you, during this quarantine time, and on top of life's transitioning in the last 2 years for me, I was able to jump into a lot of books that were biographies. And Dawn, listen, amazing. Breast cancer. Her face is just beautiful. She's amazing. She's so funny. She is a joyologist because she's able to smile in the midst of everything. A cancer survivor. There's tragedy in this book. There's severe stuff here. I mean, I thought I was transparent and I thought I shared a lot, but what's going on in this book will have you in tears, yet it'll have you laughing. It will give you perspective. It will encourage you. I literally just highlighted a part here where it says, after she found out that she had to do chemo, she said, then that's when I realized I needed to change the story in my head. She had cancer. She had to do the chemo. And she said, chemo was not now chaos or something horrible. Chemo, I had to look at it as a gift. I get to get chemo. I get to get chemo. I was like, wait, what? She looked at something bad that had happened to her and she flipped it and looked at it as a gift, Let me tell you, this is amazing. Another part that she writes here, it's such a pretty book. I love the colors. I love the pictures that she has. She says, even in the face of all of the things you can't control. Now, mind you, you're reading this and you're falling apart. Even in the face of all the things that you can't control, the announcements, the diagnoses, the calls that you hope you never get, there's something you do get to control. And that's you choose to let yourself receive wisdom. Choose to look for joy in the midst of it and grab onto it. Be willing to find joy in the small spaces between fear and confusion, because life will throw us a lot of things that will bring us fear and will make us so confused. Like, why is this happening? I don't understand. I've been there. Be willing to find joy in those small things and make that the moral of your story, that even though I was falling apart, that even though I was depressed, we need to stop with the depressing posts. I did it. I found one the other day, and I plan on even posting it to remind people this is the stuff I was posting 2 years ago. This is where I was at. Thank God I'm out of that dark place, that God can pull us out. Okay. But we got to put our mind in other things and be thankful. I get to do chemo. What? That chemo is a gift. Girl, wash your face. You know this book. This book is so amazing. If you haven't read this book, you need to read it again. New York Times seller Rachel Hollis. Absolutely amazing. I will call this the slap in your face book. Because she slapped me upside my head so bad. The word of God will do it too. But there's some things here that just blew me away. Like, look at this. Again, a lot of writing, a lot of stuff. And I wrote here, there was parts where she said, little girl, because you got to talk to your little girl. Sometimes things happen in life. It's because things that you have to still deal with that you haven't dealt with from your past. Little girl, you have no clue what you're talking about. Little girl, the real world is going to eat you alive. Little girl, you better grow up quickly. And that's all. You can't blame the past for the things that went wrong if you aren't willing to be thankful for the things that went right. So even though we look to the past and say, oh my God, that's because this happened to me and that happened to me. No, what were the things that went right? Be thankful for the things that went right. So get up, wash your face, get over it. It's kind of like those this is one of those get over it books. And I used to if my mom is watching, I used to hate when she used to say, girl, you need to get over it. That was the worst thing to say to Liz. Don't tell me to get over it. I'm suffering here. I'm going through something. But many times we need to hear somebody say, girl, wash your face, get up, get over it. There's so much more to life. And last but not least, this was one of the most recent ones. In November, I read, because our women did a Bible study at our church. Girls, get in those Bible studies at your church. Find a church where they have women's groups or men's groups, and that there's a book involved that you have to purchase, because that'll get you to read too. And doing it with other women or some kind of book club is just as amazing. So this is Max Lucado's Anxious for Nothing. This is finding calm in a chaotic world. Finding that calm. Man, when I saw this, I said, "Ooh, I need this. I need to find the calm." It's making a decision to say, I'm done with the anxiety. I'm done with all of the pain. I read this book. I love it. For all the ladies who have been, and I know I have a few guys that watch, but this is so for my girls who have been sending me messages privately saying, how did you get through it? I did not turn my back on God. I will never turn my back on God. I don't care what it is that I'm going through in my life, in the good, the bad, the ugly. But also, I love to read. I love to be encouraged by other people and what they have to say. And I'm just going to read just this little part here of Max Lucado's book, We Don't Need to Be Anxious. I love that he says, you didn't select your birthday. You didn't select your parents or your sibling, because you had no choice in that. You had no choice in that, okay? You don't determine the weather or the amount of salt in the ocean. There are many things in life over which you have no choice and no control over, okay? But the greatest activity of life is well within your dominion, and that is that you choose what you think about. And I want you to think about this. Go to your profile picture and look at what you've been posting. That is what you tend to think about. If you're posting too much of the exact same thing on your profile, that is what you're telling everybody is what you're thinking about. That's what's top on your mind, okay? I love what Max says. Max says you are the air traffic controller of your mental airport. Yes, you are. You occupy the control tower and you direct your thoughts, that mental traffic that's in your mind. They circle, they come and they go. If one of them lands, listen to this, if one of them lands, it is because you gave it permission. If it leaves, it is because you directed it to do so. So you can select your thought pattern. I selected here, November in Washington, my thought pattern. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to stay stuck in that place. I'm not going to stay stuck in that twilight zone. When you stay stuck reading, and then he mentions the word of God, be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. So listen, your thoughts, they have consequences. Your challenge is not so much your challenge. Your problem is not so much your problem. It's the way you look at it. It's what you think about it. I'm telling you, this stuff is so, so good. Be Anxious for Nothing. Max Lucado. Love it. Girl, Wash Your Face. These are my top ones. I've read other books, but these are the ones that really made me go, ooh, and get to know more about your character and who you are, and confronting not just the good, but also the bad, what you need to stop doing, those vicious cycles. Stop having a victim mentality. Stop saying you're not worthy, or whatever it is, or condemning, self-condemnation and all that stuff. Read somebody else's story so that you can realize that what you got going on is not so bad. You're blessed. You're blessed. With Don Barton. Look at a man's perspective as well, or the opposite sex, because that's always fun too, especially if it's funny. And this one here has a lot of laughs. And find yourself a good poetry book, because poetry is so fun. I'm ready to go find myself another one. Get a book that has to do with traveling. That's another book that I want to look at places where I'd love to visit and find like bucket lists. Guys, these are my tips. These are my tips for today. I hope you enjoyed them. And remember that time, take advantage of just the time that you have, even in quarantine time, because we have all this time in quarantine. And know that you can take time to read. Reading is, like we said, reading is fundamental. And time, it's relative. It's relative. What are you going to do with your time? Fill your inside with things that are going to be uplifting, that are going to inspire you, right? And in 2 years, I've read books. I read God's Word. I stood encouraged every Sunday through my pastor's preachings, but I also reached out throughout the week and I was reading. Reading is fundamental. So I have a question for you, because I'm going to ask you. What are your recommendations? What book have you recently read? And this is another book that I would just want to give a shout out to. Betsy. Betsy, thank you for giving me this recommendation of Chase the Lion. This is an amazing book. If your dreams don't scare you, then they're too small. Love this book as well. So many great stuff. So give me recommendations. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. I told you I was going to do more than 15 minutes. I'm at 23 minutes talking about books. All right. Next week, we'll talk about something totally different, maybe about dyeing our hair or something crazy like that, or something that has to do with fashion. But every once in a while, I have to have a little quick little nerd moment, because I know that I have a lot of fun, intelligent friends here on Facebook. Stay tuned for my post about where I was and where I am now. So that's just a little tip. One of the things that helped me was I continued to read. Above it all. So again, thank you so much for watching. You are such a blessing. I will see you again next week, this exact same time and this exact same place. Thank you. I love you. All right. Unfollow your heart. Love that. Amy Dockery. Monique has put something on there. Thank you, French, for putting the books on there for my friends who are watching, and you can get more information. You can get all of these books on Amazon. And don't forget to find Pierre on Instagram and Dawn as well on Instagram. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again right here next week. Don't forget to share. Blessings. Bye.